I don't have any shoes. I'll admit it. I will brag. Those players did not just go and whip that ass for us to be like, oh, good game. No, we whipped your ass. We took $800,000. Now we're partying with you.
Yeah, who cares if you're in the Power 5 conference if you don't win it, ever? Or you don't beat any of the teams in it? Like, what's the point of that? Wouldn't you rather win the conference and say, like, hey, my team is good, than lose the conference and say, well, our conference is good?
Look, they don't call me Tip for nothing. And my tip is, look out for the Group of 5 this season. They've been taking it to the Power 5 year after year.
The only quarterbacks that ever get any love are from the Power 5. I could easily list off the top Group of 5 quarterbacks I would rather have than those guys. I would be willing to bet that at least one of them is going to be in the running for the Heisman this year.
Down the middle, James, the lateral to the corner of the end zone. Can you believe that?
Welcome in, everybody, and happy 2023 from the Group of 5 guys. We're back. Took a couple weeks off for Christmas and New Year's, but I missed you guys. I know the boys missed everybody. Thank you guys for listening. God, he's rolling his eyes 10 seconds in. I can't do it. 2023 New Year's resolution for Jesse Grisham is to learn how to communicate properly and listen to somebody without making a facial expression. Jesse, I did miss you though. How are you, man?
Doing fantastic, Sprouse. Any day you wake up to a wonderful morning and you're able to be productive and make someone days better, it's been a good day. So I'm happy to be here and excited to see you guys.
Tip, anyway, how are you, man? How's your 2023 starting off?
Starting off great. Just got back from a trip, a duck hunting trip.
Wow.
Actually, first time I've been duck hunting and first time I've hunted in general. We went to Arkansas, Missouri state line, and shout out to Sherrod, Melvin, Nick and Noah Weaver, Matt Ward, and Howard. We had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
It's a good little squad there.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. We got a few ducks, got a few geese, had some fresh duck jalapeno cream cheese bacon wrapped. It was top notch. So 2023 is off to a great start.
That sounds fantastic. Jeff, I know you had a disastrous day of Christmas Day travels, but hopefully your little break got a little better for you.
Yeah, we finally made it back to Tennessee, and just to give a brief synopsis, got stuck in all that Southwest debacle. You try and go home to California to see your family, see your grandfather who's 93 years old, trying to do the right thing. One of the kids stay at Nana's house, and then you leave on Christmas Day, a little delayed. So I was like, okay, it's all right, a couple hours, I can deal with that. But we get into Orange County, California, where our layover was, and I was like, booking these flights, I was like, as long as we can get out to the West Coast, we should be good. So we get to Orange County, not supposed to change planes, but we are notified when we land that the flight crew has left the plane, and there is not a flight crew coming back. And they're also a pilot short, so they're going to try and find a crew and a pilot on Christmas Day. So we get off the plane, we sit at the airport. It's me.
I see Denzel Washington from Flight. You're like, I got this.
I said, boys, I am in the service industry. I can serve drinks up and down this airplane.
Oh, yeah.
No problem. But it's my wife, my 3 sons, and we're sitting at Santa Ana Airport, really not with the plan. And after about 4 hours, I go, there's not a prayer in that they're going to find the crew and find a pilot. So I wait in multiple long lines, tell them, pull my bag, send it downstairs. We're going to take try our luck with a rental car. It's an 8-hour drive up to Oakland. So we get down there. The first 2 places are sold out of cars. I go to Avis.
Good company.
Please tell me you have a car. We got a couple left. Convertible Mustangs. That's all we have left. I said, book it. Slammed all 5 of us in that car. I mean, I was like shoved up in the steering wheel. The trunk was completely full. Drove halfway, stayed in a hotel on Highway 5, woke up the next morning, finished the drive, finally got to Oakland, California, my mom's house. What do you know? You wake up the next morning, Southwest has canceled our return flight. on Friday. So now we are flightless going home. We have to book an
Hell,
emergency.
you got there Friday and you were supposed to leave Friday?
No, we got there. We got there on Monday, and we were
Okay,
supposed to be
gotcha.
leaving Thursday. I think it was Thursday we were leaving, but they canceled it. So Southwest canceled it. You couldn't rebook anything, and they didn't rebook anything for us. So we had to book an emergency flight because we had to get back with Delta, which cost us $4,000 just to get home. And nothing was flying into Nashville. We had to fly into Atlanta, rent another car in Atlanta, and drive the rest of the way to Murfreesboro. And then I had to drive to Nashville to drop the car off. So needless to say, it's great.
Awesome.
Great trying to, great time spending with my family back home. The kids had a blast. Got to see my grandfather briefly. He's in a nursing home, but it was worth it to at least see him and do that. But Southwest, you are getting the Atrocious Award this week.
Yeah.
It's atrocious. It's atrocious.
I want my refund. I spent a lot of money having to fix your mess ups, so pay me back.
Dude,
the
normally
word out of my
Southwest
mouth.
is normally Southwest and Delta are on top of it, but
Delta's fantastic. I mean,
I've always tried to
I
cheap
will
out, but
die
when
for
I
Delta.
I flew Delta to San Antonio, and it was like made me not
Yeah.
hate flying so bad.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, everybody had to deal with the weather, and I get the initial that Arctic storm that came in, but Delta didn't have all these cancellations. American didn't have all Frontier, like they had minimal cancellations. And what happened essentially is what I've been told is the weather messed up Southwest initially, and their system just couldn't handle all the cancellations. And then they also had issues with employees, and then the whole system just fell apart because of how it just was like a domino effect.
Well, you
And
know,
then
there's you got your main hubs.
Yeah.
When I was up in the Northeast, they were talking about you have like your Atlanta airport, you have like your New York airport, which I think was
JFK.
JFK airport, and then you have like LA. And from there, if anything happens at those three airports, then like all the other airports in the country just start getting like you said, domino effect.
Yeah.
Getting just
But
screwed
I don't know
over.
that all the other airline carriers handled it, but Southwest.
Well, if you
man.
they got like hour limits on flight crews too. So if you get one that got delayed and then came late, like they probably what it seems like what happened with yours, like they cannot. I mean, they might be sitting right there and they're like, nope, we're over hours.
Well, you had all these planes and flight attendants and pilots that were stuck in the Northeast. They couldn't even get out. So you had those ones up there that weren't even getting out. You had all these other flights trying to fly. Now the flight that gets here is supposed to get one of the pilots from up north. It was just, and I get it, man. I get stuff happens, but man, doing that with three young kids was
I couldn't imagine.
it was an adventure.
That's where you throw out. I mean, I don't know. I assume you just throw out any like convictions you have on what kind of snacks they get, the iPad, the phone, whatever you could possibly do, man.
especially in a convertible Mustang.
For real.
Driving.
Drop the top at least, cruise up the coast, huh?
I mean, thick fog at like midnight. Everyone's asleep. I'm driving. My oldest Dominic, he's the only one that's awake. And I mean, it was one of the most stressful days we have ever had, me and my wife. And everyone's asleep. Dominic, I don't know how he's still awake. He's just right with me. We're just talking. He goes, and this is how you know, boys, you're doing something right. Every once in a while, something happens with your kids, and you just feel like, okay, you know what? I think I'm doing okay. He looks at me. He goes, Daddy. He goes, sometimes when you've had a hard day, you just got to push through. And by God, I got choked up. I said, you know what, son? You're absolutely right. We're gonna make it to Nana's house.
How old is Dom?
He's 7.
Sounds like he earned his first cold one with Pop.
Oh, I know
that comment right there.
He had plenty of
Sometimes, Daddy,
Spri-
after you've had a hard
Sprites
day.
and Fantas when we got to Nana's.
Oh man. Anyway, we gotta get rolling. I had
Yeah.
a pretty good. We put our foot down and we stayed home for Christmas and New Year's, so we had family here. But we had a good Christmas. A couple prime ribs, put together a good little meal, and then we had a little noon year's party with a bunch of parents of 2-year-olds and under. So we got people came to the house at like 10 a.m. Had some little champagne, little
There you go.
breakfast casserole, little brunch, and they got out of here about noon. I sat on the couch and watched football all day. So it's pretty good idea. Get people out of the house early. The kids get a nap, and then you just got the rest of the day to do whatever you want. But yeah, I mean, glad to see everybody here. We had a bunch of bowl games. We're gonna try to recap a little bit of those. We got some voicemails. Thank you for calling the hotline over the holidays. We're going to talk about some of our plans for 2023. First order of business for 2023, Reese's Senior Bowl. Group of 5 guys will be there in action. Cannot wait to see some of these guys, Jake Hayner, Carlton Marshall, some of these guys just put in the work. Nothing better than when you see the viral video of a, quote, small school O-lineman going against some SEC D-end or D-tackle, and that viral video gets these guys drafted. So can't wait to see that live at practice Thursday and then on the game on Saturday. But, Jeff, I know we got a whole bunch of voicemails, so let's get those cranked up.
Absolutely. So appreciate you guys calling in the hotline. As always, keep them coming. 615-900-4286. There's a lot of movement this offseason with transfer portal, guys declaring for the draft. We're doing our best to stay on top of it, but we want to hear from you. You guys, follow your school, each individual school, way more closely than we're able to. So let us know what's going on. We want to hear from you, even if you just got a good story. So keep them coming. Just got a couple this week, and these span the 2 weeks. So we kind of do them in order. After a couple bowl games, we got a nice New Year's Eve wish call from our boy Stu's right from Twitter, and then finish it up with the 2 Zags. So we'll get right to it. We got Terry Johnson after the bowl game.
Hey, group of 5 guys. Terry Johnson right here. A few days after the horrible loss to Houston. Just inexcusable. 2 fumbled balls by our leading rusher. My heart goes out to him, Chris Smith. He's been a Cajun through and through, and he's been with the team for a long time. And through the turnover and Nate leaving, he's been a great leader. But, I feel bad for him, fumbling those balls. And a lot of people blame him. And, part of me wants to too, but, it's a team loss. Can't play prevent defense against, one of the best, quarterbacks in the group of 5 and the best, receiver in the group of 5 and expect to win the game at the end. So, defense played hard. Offense just couldn't put up enough points. But, man, it's like the 3rd game this year. We get up to a big lead and just, we give the game away. My heart goes out to Dez and the guys. Hopefully we can, with this new recruiting class coming in, we can build something next year. Half those guys are just going to transfer anyway, get the transfer portal anyway, so what does it even matter? But, hey, it's been fun calling in all year to y'all. Y'all are awesome. Y'all have been a great representation of the group of 5. Fun fact, we saw a Big Game Boomer in the booth the other day. Real cool dude. Talked to him about some good group of 5 stuff. So we all have a hatred for the purple and tis, Tigers across the basin. So that was nice to share. Also, congratulations to MTSU. Y'all beating, Hawaii and the Hawaii Bowl. Happy for y'all. And Coach Stock. And, I feel like Coach Stock gets a lot of hate, but that dude's an awesome dude, and I'm happy for him. Hey, it wasn't the Cajuns' year this year, but hopefully next year with the young quarterback and, experienced offensive line and, more experienced coaches, Dez can do something. I believe in him, and I believe in this team. I love this team. I love being a Cajun. God bless Group of 5. God bless Group of 5 guys. Go Cajuns.
Appreciate it, Terry. Appreciate you calling in all year. And just keep them coming, man.
That game didn't really go how I don't think anybody thought of it. Houston's defense has been so inconsistent and so bad, but not that Louisiana's offense has been, anything mighty. But you kind of thought that would have been a little more high scoring. But then at the end, as inconsistent as Houston was, Tune and Dell late in games, you can't. I was really excited to see both of them at the Senior Bowl. That's going to be a good one. But Louisiana, man.
Felt really good about that game in the first half for Louisiana.
Yeah.
They were playing well. Like you mentioned, their defense was playing really well. But you can't not score any points in the second half and expect to beat a team like Houston, like we've seen all year with Houston. Losing early in the game, but then making these comebacks, and sometimes they fell short, but they beat Memphis earlier this year like that, and then they do the same thing here against Louisiana. Like you mentioned, the Clayton Tune Tank Dell duo. It's just tough to beat.
Even looking at the huge victory from Tulane to USC and that comeback at the last few minutes, I still give the best comeback to Houston over Memphis back in October.
Yeah, that was
that's still probably the best Group of 5 game for me in my opinion. And like you said, Zip, and they've been doing it all year. So if you're not going to score in the second half, good luck trying to beat Houston.
Is as inconsistent as Houston was, and I know we gave them crap all year. I mean, you look at their final record, 8-5. They lose double overtime at Texas Tech. They lose to Kansas. They lose overtime versus Tulane. They put up 77, or they give up 77 to SMU, but they also put up 63. And then they lose by a touchdown to Tulsa. So I know we don't like to say it, but they lose 5 games. They're probably 7-8 plays away across the season from being an 11 or 12 win team.
It's the negatives of being a head coach for a team that's has a lot of expectation.
Yep.
We literally were saying back in August this is going to be a playoff team, and you look back at now, you're like, God, what were we thinking? But I mean, they had the parts for it, and we thought they were going to make it. And now it looks like they had a letdown year. They actually had a pretty good season.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a lot to replace, especially on offense next year. So it's going to be interesting.
Good luck to them in the Big 12. Honestly, there was nothing better to me than seeing UCF. And even though Houston won, UCF, Houston, and Cincinnati just look awful.
They did.
Awful in their bowl games. And then Cincinnati, I saw where their tackle transferred to Wisconsin, following Fickle. They are just falling apart, and it is wonderful.
I'm gonna call it right now. Doesn't go a long ways because I'm usually wrong, but UCF going to the Big 12, I'm saying Gus Malzahn's fired by 2025.
He probably will be,
because he can't compete with the big games. It seems that he always falls short. Old Gus Bus. I think Jeff was saying it all year. I was on the Gus Bus train, but I hate that bowl game against Duke. Atrocious. It was hard.
That's kind of what they've been all year. They were just hot and cold, man. They look good one game, and the next week they don't. It's like you got to be consistent, and they were everything but that. So, but anyways, appreciate the call, Terry, and keep them coming this offseason. We want to hear from you. We'll get to the next one. We got a 2-parter. Steeple PC 51 before this pre-game call.
Ooh.
Hey, Group 5 guys, how you going? It's Steeple _PC_51. Man, exciting times. I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. A couple hours out from our game getting started. I already got a tall boys. I'm in Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm watching Georgia Southern get mad. They butt whoop. This is a late call, so I'm trying not to cuss. To help you out a little bit there.
Appreciate it.
I'm sitting with the family, so I'm getting those tall ones. I'm on my second one, about to do my third, and just about to have a good time. Also, I want to give a shout out to Terry. Thank you, man, for messing up my card, my ESPN card. Your Louisiana Raisin Cajun dropped the ball again, had a lead, and man, I told you, switch from Louisiana and get that Texas Pete. Well, might help in the halftime. Anyway, watching Georgia Southern getting their butt beat by Buffalo, not enjoying that. Gosh, no. Anyway, I hope I'm not calling later on and talk about how Coastal is going to, well, I'm just going to say it. Coastal is going to kick East Carolina butt. We are going to kick that butt. I saw some fans today, and I looked at them, and they wouldn't even look my way because they knew what the deal was. Anyway, shout out to everybody. Love you guys. Love the forum. Family, say hey. Say hey, family. Shots up. There we go. All right, guys. I hope I'm calling later on tonight with positivity.
Narrator, they did not, in fact. kick East Carolina's ass.
Unfortunately, did not. Let's get to the post game.
Hey, Group 5 guys. How y'all doing? This is Steeple _PC _51. What can I say? It was a pretty good game till Grayson went out. And then it was a depressing performance. Needless to say. D-backs couldn't cover anyone. Fade route after fade route. Pass interference after pass interference. My God, guys, we could have went out there and played better defense on the back end than those guys. But I'm still proud of the boys. Didn't give up. ECU didn't take their foot off the gas. They weren't supposed to. I was there. Atmosphere was really good, man. It was really good. It was good for Group of 5. Really good. Thought it was a good showing. Wasn't disappointed at all. It was a nice little crowd, too. It wasn't jam-packed, but it was a nice crowd. A little disappointed. Sam didn't get 5 catches. 79 yards. So he was 1 catch and 4 yards away from being an all-time leading receiver for Coastal and 1,000 yards. Disappointed they didn't make an effort. Hell, they could have ran a jet sweep. But, he was happy to participate with his team, and he has no quarrels about it, so I won't either. Anyway, looking forward to seeing you guys. Barry, I still will continue to call and stay on this platform. You guys keep doing what you're doing. God bless Group 5. God bless Coastal Carolina. God bless the Sun Belt. See you guys and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
He was gonna say, "See you guys in Conway,"
Yeah,
and
he
he
almost
caught
did.
himself.
Can I say, before we talk about the call, can you imagine how it must feel as a father to have a son that may potentially break a Division I college football team record? My dad was just thrilled to see me block zone a couple plays. He was just like, "That's my boy." There ain't no way I'm about to get the pancake record or be All American. I could, and he's just so. But even on the phone calls, he's not braggy about his son. He just seems like a dad. He's
very
hey,
humble.
my son's very humble. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah. Very humble.
Bro, God, dude, if that's my son, I'm screaming at the coaching staff. 1 catch, 4 yards. We need 1 catch, 4 yards, please.
I'd be a little salty about that for sure.
Well, so he's 1 catch away from being. Is it like a career all-time receptions or
I think
on
it's
a season?
I think it's I don't know if it's. He said it. I can't
took
remember.
it as single. I think it was single season.
Single season as far as the yards, I think. Well, anyway.
Either way, a record's a record.
Yeah, ain't no doubt about it. And to be 1 catch away.
My dad was calling me are you starting this week? What are we doing here? Do I need to make the trip?
In good news for everybody, in my opinion, good news is old Steeple's kid's coming back next year to Coastal. So
I thought you said he's going to the draft.
He was gonna, but then I think when McCall said he was coming back, he said he was coming back.
Whoa! So we got Steeple for sure back next year calling in.
We talked about that, but hey,
probably blacked out.
Probably no, yeah. So with McCall coming back, Steeple's kid coming back, that changes the outlook big time in Conway.
That's your 2 biggest pieces right there. On offense. So,
and they're going to get, they're going to be throwing the ball even more than they've been.
They got to figure out this defense, though. What on earth is happening with this defense? The last 3 games of the season, they gave up 47 to James Madison, 45 to Troy, and then 53 to East Carolina. Yeah. They got to get that. They got to get that fixed.
Yeah, you're just not going to win very many games giving up that many points. But Steeple, man, appreciate you. Appreciate you calling in all season. Keep them coming in the off season. You got any updates things going on at Coastal, and hopefully we will see you in Conway next year.
We got to
So
get to Conway,
we have
man.
to.
Have to.
Absolutely.
The new
Absolutely agree.
OC from South Florida, Coach Trickett's there now too. I've been talking.
Oh,
we
big
got to
time.
get to Conway.
We got
We'll get
Gotta
there.
make that a priority, guys.
We will.
Okay.
We will for sure. All right, and then we get a little New Year's call. This is a good
Stu.
one. Boy, Stu's right.
Hey boys, Dude right from Twitter here. I am currently, it's New Year's Eve, and I am on one. Been on one most of the day. Anyways, just wanted to call and wish you guys a Happy New Year. Shout out to all the people that have talked to me throughout the year. I don't like them, but I wish them a Happy New Year. Can't wait to see you boys next year, and I hope Coastal never wins the game. Sorry, Steeple, or whatever your name is. Anyways, can't wait to see you boys next year. I hope y'all have a wonderful New Year's. Happy New Year's to all of my foes, all the people that have talked to me. And, yeah, that's about it. Anyways, can't wait to see you soon. Happy New Year's.
Appreciate it, Stu. Happy New Year
Happy-
to you too, brother.
Happy New Year,
Happy
Stu.
New Year. Ain't no question.
He's a diehard, and hopefully we'll link up next year for sure. If we ever get that golf tournament sorted out. But all right, and then we'll move on to the next one. Our guy Zach. It's easy, go Flames.
What's up, guys? Zach Green at GG Go Flames here. As I'm calling, it is the morning of January 2nd, which means that after today, after Tulane plays USC, the official Group of 5 off-season is in full swing. And then after next Monday, the official college football off-season is in full swing, which is kind of a sad time because it means what we all love, what we've all been paying attention to for the last several months is coming to a close for a while. And then we're just looking at recruiting and new schedules being released and stuff like that, which is fun, but not as exciting as the actual games. So I just want to do a quick look ahead for this year. And I also wanted to ask you guys, what's a storyline, a game, a team, a player that you're really looking forward to in 2023? So what do you guys think about that? What's your favorite storyline, team, game, player that you're looking forward to in 2023? Any one of those topics, doesn't matter. Anyways, a few things I'm looking forward to. Number one, well, not in really any particular order necessarily. Looking forward to those big time quarterbacks in the Group of 5 that almost transferred that didn't. So like Austin Reed, Frank Harris, and Grayson McCall. Looking forward to seeing how those guys do. Really glad to have them back in the Group of 5. Although, to be honest, it would have been nice to have Grayson McCall in Lynchburg, but that's all right. Glad he's at least staying in the Group of 5. Number two, also looking forward to conference realignment coming up with all those teams going into the AAC from the Conference USA. Kind of be interesting to get Cincinnati and UCF into Big 12, see how they do there, but also open up some more, for lack of a better term, spots in the Group of 5 to compete for that top New Year's 6 bid. And then number three, of course, Liberty going into Conference USA. We just launched our biggest website, sports website called A Sea of Red. Just launched a NIL collective at the end of last year called Flames Rising NIL Collective, or Flames Rising Collective. Of course, we've got Chadwell and the new staff. We've got a really good recruiting class coming in. A lot of exciting things going on in Lynchburg to bring into Conference USA. So I'm looking forward to that. And so those are my things. Just want to know what you guys think. What's the biggest thing you're looking forward to going into next year? As always, thank you for what you do, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Zach.
Happy New Year, Zach. I got
Happy
a
New
few.
Year, Zach.
I got a few that I'll kind of start out with.
Go for it.
From a team perspective, we'll stay with Liberty here. I'm excited to see them come into Conference USA and see how well they do. I mean, to be honest, with Chadwell coming there, I think they're gonna be in a really good team, and I think it's going to be between them and Western Kentucky. I think it's going to be those two teams there at the top of Conference USA. So excited to see how they play in conference play going into next year. Also, another one, he was talking about the quarterbacks, but he mentioned Frank Harris, UTSA. I'm really excited to see Kavorian Barnes there. He'll be a sophomore next year.
Yeah.
That running back, that kid's going to set some records next year. I think he just looked the last few games where he got an opportunity to play. He just looked really, really good, and I'm really excited to watch him play next year.
Yeah, I agree, Tip. A couple that I'm looking for. Liberty was one of mine going into Conference USA. See how they end up. Conference champs out of the Mountain West. I'm interested to see who fills those massive shoes at Fresno State and Jay Kaner. I mean, Jeff Tedford, the head coach, is one of the best quarterback coaches in the country. So I've heard some rumors, of some guys possibly thinking about transferring there. They had that kid last year. I think his name's Logan Fife, who played when Jay Kaner was injured. So he's got a little bit of experience, but just interested to see. I mean, they continually have a very, very good football team, and I expect the same coming, back. But they're losing a lot of pieces, losing Cropper, and those boys. Mims, I believe, is gone, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, interested to see kind of Fresno State and maybe some other teams in the Mountain West that we thought we're going to be good this year, but I had some down years like Utah State, San Diego State. We thought they were going to be a lot closer than what they were. So just interested to see what happens out west.
And Sprouse, if I may.
Yeah.
A team that I am ecstatic for. I said a few episodes back, they bring in a lot of juice, a lot of power, a lot of momentum. For the Sun Belt West, man, I'm going with the Golden Eagles of Southern Miss. I think they're going to have an awesome season next year. As long as they have a good off season, maybe get some good transfers in, fill us some missing pieces. Watch out for Southern Miss making a run for it in the Sun Belt West. And then, if you recall, a player that I chatted about in last year's podcast with Tulsa, a huge Davis Brin guy.
Yeah.
He's going to Georgia Southern. And I'm excited to see what Georgia Southern can do if they can keep this momentum alive, and what can they do in the Sun Belt East.
That's where I was going to go, is the Sun Belt East, and Georgia Southern got another quarterback that just committed. I think from Kentucky or something like that. So these kids are seeing something with old Helton and what Van Treese did. But the Sun Belt East, what you got is App State going to come back next year and say, hold on just a minute. Is James Madison going to officially come in and clean house like they did this year? Is Georgia Southern going to be a lot better? What's Coastal going to be? I mean, a lot going on in the Sun Belt East. And then, Tip, you were talking about UTSA, Frank Harris and them boys. What do they do in the American next year? And when they go up against a Tulane or an East Carolina, the other guys that are going up to the American, I think they're going to have a tough time right away. But UTSA, UAB should be fine. But UTSA, I think, is going to be a problem.
UTSA train. I'm off of it.
Don't be.
Two bowl games in a row that
they might win the American next year.
I'm not saying Frank Harris ain't awesome. He's great. I'm off the UTSA train. I'll pick them to lose every game next year.
Something else real quick.
Yeah.
This is just kind of group of 5 teams as a whole, and this is kind of really jumping to the 2024 season, so I'm kind of like skipping a year. But when they expand that playoff, what does that do? You're going to see – I feel like you're going to see these teams, these group of 5 teams that have really good success, like a successful season next year. How does that affect their recruiting? They're getting guys to come into the transfer portal to try and build that really good team that can go undefeated or lose one game, but have a shot to get into that expanded playoff. How does that affect the scheduling? Are you going to try and schedule, some teams to try and more quality road games to try and win those games to get the brownie points or whatever from the committee to try and get into that playoff? So I'm really interested to see how all of that gets shooken up and how that affects the group of 5 teams going to, I guess, the end of next season into the 2024 season.
So what is the criteria? Is it the highest ranked group of 5, the highest ranked conference champ? The highest 6 ranked conference champs get in, right?
I don't know if they've come out with.
Is that official? I mean, that's what they were saying, right? So there would be a guarantee for a conference champion Group of 5 school to be in.
I would think so.
If that's true. So to rebuttal you, Tip, maybe they don't schedule anybody difficult because they think, well, let's run the table and win Conference USA, and we're in. You know, I don't think that's the right thing to do because you want to be a little more battle tested before you have to go play.
If it's based on conference champions, then you're probably.
I
more
think
than
that's what
likely
they were
right.
saying. The 6 highest ranked, so you'd get at least one Group of 5 and potentially 2 if you get a Fresno winning the Mountain West and a.
Yeah, I think that's where the argument's going to come in, Sprouse. I mean, 2025 and on is we know we're going to get one school, but then we're going to be saying it's total bullshit that only Fresno is representing the Group of 5 when you have an undefeated or one loss App State team.
That's
what I mean? We're going to be wanting to get 2 or 3 teams in there. So are we ever going to be happy? Probably not. Not until we win the championship. But we want to get more teams in there because, like we're going to get to in a second, Tulane goes in there
100%
and handles USC. Well, I say handles USC. It was a great game, but you just beat a Heisman winner. So that right there, ESPN and all Big Brother are saying, "Oh my God, what has just happened? This is not what we want."
It just goes to show, it needs to be settled on the field.
You gotta play.
Stop. You're right.
Stop this politicking. Stop this. Let them settle on the field and it'll square it out from there.
But, and my bad, Jeff. Sorry to interrupt you. And I'm sure this will be an entire episode. We'll do this off season, but then you also have what happens when Kansas State beats TCU in the Big 12 championship and TCU's this top 5 team and they lose. Well, now does Kansas State jump the potential Group of 5 team, as a highest ranked conference champion, which the answer is we know they will. We know they're going to do that, but then you're going to start, there's still going to be arguments until you let all conference champions in, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, I know we got to move on. Before we go, let's take a little break on talk about Prize Picks. And
we got one last voicemail.
I'm so sorry, Jeff. Play the voicemail.
No, you're good. Zip our boy Zach Branner after the want to talk about Tulane.
Man, it is a great day to be a part of the Group of 5. Man, shout out to Tulane. I can't imagine how they feel right now. I can't imagine the excitement. Well, I can because my ass is standing up and down cheering loud as hell for them here in my apartment. But holy shit. Congrats, Tulane. Y'all deserve it. Shout out to y'all. Put the Group of 5 in y'all's back. Beat the shit out of them. We didn't really just shout out to you guys. Damn, I'm proud to be a part of the Group of 5. Now, rolling into 2023, let's watch the Power 5 voters do their damnedest to really screw the Group of 5 now to ever getting back to the playoffs because of what Tulane just did. Because if Group of 5 is beating their Power 5 teams, they're not going to let us do that again. But damn, shout out to Tulane. Oh, and side note, the real men of Troy won their bowl game weeks ago. So to watch USC the bed, love it. The Heisman Trophy winner get his ass whooped by Michael Pratt, who's got the balls of steel. Balls of steel. Shout out to Tulane. Let's ride. 2023, the year, again, of the Group of 5. Let's go.
He's not lying about Michael Pratt. I mean, what a drive at the end of the game when all the pressure is on you. You stay in the pocket, you're delivering strikes, drive right down the field and throw that beautiful just seam route right for a touchdown to the tight end. That was awesome.
Freaking strike, dude. I mean, they went Pratt and Tyjae Spears. They went, even if they wouldn't have completed the comeback. So if kick returner doesn't muff the kick, they went toe-to-toe with the damn Heisman winner. And let me tell you something. As much crap as we talk about the Power 5, that dude's a baller now. Caleb Williams is a baller. But they went toe-to-toe, man, and they look, I mean, both offenses put on a show, and what a freaking game that was.
And here's your stat line. Michael Pratt, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tyjae Spears, 19 carries, 205 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That's insane. And that's against USC, man, one of the top Power 5 schools in the country.
What idiotic comment are you about to say, Swag Bear?
I told myself I wasn't going to say this.
Oh no.
I take full responsibility for Tulane winning this game. I was in a hole, boys.
Here we go.
I was in a hole.
So he put it all on the Trojans. Didn't
I've been on a Tulane train all year.
Sure did.
And
Say it
I
ain't
was-
so.
I literally was down like $400 in the hole. Like I was like, all right, the Heisman has to show out.
Oh my
I
god.
had USC.
Serves you
It
right.
all doesn't it all
I
make
had
sense now why he
USC.
wasn't happy?
That's
No, I
exactly
was-
why he
dude,
went ghost for a month
You know
and a
what?
half.
You want to hear? You want to know what goes to the month? I've had the worst bowl season of my life. I had Ohio State money line. For God's sakes, I was literally in front of the TV on my hands and knees praying to the football gods to let this 50-yard field goal go to the uprights, and it did not go in. But then here we are. I'm watching the USC Tulane game. I'm like, all right, let's win this money back. I love Tulane. Come on, Williams. And you want to see a comeback in the last 2.5 minutes? My wife's over here trying to put Christmas stuff together. I'm like, not now. I'm like, we gotta watch this game. And y'all are over here group messaging like, let's go, Tulane, let's go. And I'm over here like, no. Sorry, I'm being honest here.
So
I know
you
I
did
probably lost
see
a
the
lot of followers.
messages and just
Yeah,
refused to
so
I saw the
respond.
Yeah.
messages. I hit y'all back on ignore again because y'all are pissing me off. Yes.
Did you forget?
But
Did you
what?
forget to take us off ignore
You know
again?
what? Here's the deal. Here's the deal. I might be a man of no loyalty. I'll admit it. But I will also admit
Correct.
my flaws. I apologize to Tulane. I was on your train, Michael Pratt. I love you. I'm glad you're coming back next year. I made a stupid bet, but in the end, I think I have the record to show it. You're welcome for going with USC because y'all made the comeback and catch of a lifetime. That's all I got, Sprouse.
All makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe
That
if you were
does.
more loyal to the brand, and the company that you work for and stuff.
I know.
Maybe
Matt-
those
Matt-
same
Matt
football
is so
gods.
disappointed right now. He's like, I can't believe you just said that.
Maybe those same football
No,
gods
I
win you.
I
win
want
you
the
a fantasy
world-
football
I want the
championship.
world to
I mean,
see what we
So when
see.
you kick me out of the group of 5, they'll be like, "Well, we get it. We get it."
Bro, we get it. That guy's an asshole.
He does have a nice new tracksuit though. That's MTSU colors. I'll give him
It's a
that.
sharp
Yeah.
looking track.
This is my favorite tracksuit I got. This is.
It's about time you
And when
got
I
it.
put on my new Ray Bans, I literally look like an out of shape Top Gun, like I look like a Maverick. It's fantastic. It's a great.
Maverick has dark hair
Just
and no beard.
and does he have a tracksuit?
No. Wears jeans and a white T-shirt.
I feel like I should be flying
Rides
jet
a
right now.
motorcycle. What?
Motorcycle? They're in the air. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
He
but
rides his damn
cruises on
bike
his
to the
motorcycle.
airstrip every
I
day.
haven't seen the movie yet.
He
But
looks identical to this way he looked 20 years ago when the first one came out.
Bowl games, when we get to the bowl games, look, I did bet a lot on the group. I'll say this: every other Power 5 and Group of 5, I bet with the Group of 5 team, and thankfully, Mr. Jeff Murphy convinced me to go with the Air Force Falcons, and I won that game. Very, very
You're
good
welcome.
bet, Jeff. Very good bet. And I got to tell you, that's one of the most fun games I've watched because I know you just gave your horrible travel experience. One of the best traveling times of my life going to New Jersey. My wife, she's a rewards member with American Express. So we were over there. We were over there in the Delta Sky Club. I got free beer and drinks for like 3 hours. Got there in advance. I'm watching the Air Force Falcons beat the Baylor Bears. I'm over here watching. Baylor could not out physical Air Force. Air Force is basically bending them over and saying, "My name's Daddy. What's yours?"
It's
And
just-
it was just they could not. They would run the ball on them. It was freezing cold. But every time I would slam a Miller in that Delta Sky Club, there'd be a first down Falcons. So I had a phenomenal time at the Atlanta.
I'm
Airport.
glad while you're eating, ribeye steaks and having
literally
cold beer
had
in the
ribs.
Delta
They had
Sky Club.
ribs.
Yeah.
Me and my sons are eating Cheez-Its and popcorn at the airport because there's no food at the Santa Ana airport. Hope you feel good about yourself,
There's
Swag
no
Bear.
way in hell
I
could
hope you
ever
feel
done what
good
you
about
just did.
yourself.
There's no way I could have done what you did. There's no way. I would have had a heart attack, or I don't know. I'd done something.
Anyway,
I'm
let's
with
get,
stressful
let's get
situations.
Sprouse, hit the prize picks.
Yeah, prize picks. Honestly, I've been hot in prize picks.
Me
I
too.
don't. I've been hot just picking 2 players, player props. You guys use our code GOFG. They'll match your deposit, first time deposit up to $100. And just because college football is winding down, You can bet NFL, or you can play NFL, MMA, video games. They got everything on there.
NBA.
Soccer, hockey. Yeah, NBA. Honestly, NBA might be the easiest one to do. I've had the most luck
Points
on NBA.
over.
Yeah, you take like Embiid, points, rebounds, assists over like 40. Guy gets like 30 and 18 every night. But anyway, yeah, Prize Picks, download the app, use our promo code GOFG, up to $100 deposit match. We talked a little bit about the bowl games. I'll just want to kind of go around real fast and see what if anything stuck out. We talked about Tulane, man, and one thing on Tulane, and me and Swag talked about it on the phone, is last year when you looked at Cincinnati and Bama in the playoff, what we talked about is, look, I'm not going to sit here and deny that places like Bama and Georgia, and depending on the year, LSU maybe has more physicality. I mean, you just look at them on the field and you're like, my God, them guys are adults playing against kids. USC and these other schools are not like that to that degree. So then it comes down to the athletes, and Tulane's got athletes like USC has athletes. So USC was never going to out physical Tulane. So they always had a chance. And then when you got playmakers like Spears and like Zach said in his call, Pratt has got needs a wheelbarrow for his nuts. They went toe to toe, man. And
did.
Remember Jesse's boy, I'll tell you, Sincere Haynesworth playing center for Tulane. He's been there for 8.5 years at least.
He's good.
He's a baller, man. But
it's all psychological, Matt. We're all humans. And then when we're watching the USC colors go against a green, that's what I'm talking about. When you see them going against a Tulane green team, psychologically, you want to look at it and say, wow, they look so much smaller. You spray paint that green with, I don't know, a Texas orange or a crimson Alabama, you're not even questioning it. Tulane had the size. They were out there just as big as USC, hitting USC harder. And then, like I think Jeff or Tipton said earlier, Tyjae Spears, the guy, going back to the game, it's funny whenever one of y'all were like, man, Tyjae Spears pretty good. And the guy can make plays. I missed the play where he broke one for like 70 yards. I thought the game was over.
I think he broke three.
And the cuts he was making, like,
he's going to be a star.
I mean, they were big time.
He's going to be a star.
They were big time cuts, being patient in the hole, and then he hits it, and then just that lateral jump cut he was able to make, and then outrun. I mean,
he's a freaking.
What does that do for your
man.
NFL stock? I mean, real.
Well, that's why he's going to the draft.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
that's why he declared.
If he was already going to be like maybe a 4th or 5th round pick, he might be a 2nd or 3rd round guy now from that one game alone.
Yeah, well,
Possibly.
see, so I really would love to talk to like a head scout or something, because I would love to know how much impact that has. And now it's like, I imagine they're watching bowl games, they're watching like, God, this dude, and now they're going to be like, okay, let's go watch this kid, and they're going to watch every tape and be like, son of a bitch, this guy's been doing this every single week for the last couple of years. I mean,
how's the Senior Bowl work, Sprouse? If he's not a senior, but he's going to declare for the draft, can he go to the Senior Bowl? Do you know?
They have like a watch list of like 500 players. I think they have to be seniors before the season. I'm not entirely sure.
All right.
And then they just go through senior highlight tape and pick their guys.
And there's also I think it's the East-West Shrine Bowl.
Yeah,
which is similar
in San Diego, right?
Or it used to be in San Francisco. I don't know if it's moved now, but they have that one as well. But yeah, I imagine his stock is soaring.
I don't know that he needs to go anymore. I mean, I think he's proven enough, and damn well if he gets a combine or a pro day, he's going to run a damn great 40. And with it, like you were talking about his agility, he's going to run a great 3-cone.
Yep.
I mean, that dude.
I can't think of a bigger win the Group of 5 has had. Maybe since, and I might be way wrong here, is it maybe since Boise State against Oklahoma? I mean,
I would agree with that.
I mean, Cincinnati beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. Yeah, it was huge. It was great, but that right there, that you just beat the Heisman.
Just the pedestal,
you beat the Heisman.
That
the
stage
media had put USC on to
dude,
knock them off.
If USC doesn't lay an egg in the Pac-12 championship, they're playing in the they're playing in the playoffs. But Yeah, I mean, that was-
God
So
bless.
if that's the
Oh,
case,
man.
does
Hold your
that
nut.
win do for Tulane what that Fiesta Bowl win did for Boise?
Possibly.
if they capitalize.
Yeah.
They can't come back next year and win 5 games.
Yeah.
Southern Miss plays Tulane next year. We'll see.
Well,
what happens.
Southern Miss beat them this year.
I don't know.
Where's that game at? Hattiesburg or New
I think
Orleans?
it's in Hattiesburg because Southern Miss went to Tulane and beat them.
Hattiesburg.
I think. Maybe
Well-
I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Well, I'll tell you a game that sort of surprised me a little bit. How about the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky
Again,
took it
dude.
to South
Yeah.
Alabama?
Yep.
Austin Reed, 497 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. 3 of their receivers were over 100 yards receiving.
Bet you won't guess who I had in that game.
Sure, you
Definitely
took South
South Alabama.
I took
100%.
South Alabama. I had to kill in West Kentucky.
That's the biggest thing to me in that game is South Alabama's defense has been rock solid
Yeah.
all year, and this is the most points they gave up all season. But credit to Austin Reed and that offense. I mean, they were firing on all cylinders.
Such a
And if I'm not mistaken, he is coming back.
Yeah.
He is.
He
Didn't
was
he?
going to transfer and then
Correct.
He's back.
Yeah, he removed
So-
himself
For the
from
listeners'
portal
sake, Southern Miss played Tulane at Tulane and beat them, so they're going to go to
this year.
Hattiesburg
So they'll be in
next year.
Hattiesburg next year?
Yeah.
Ooh, wee.
But yeah, man, that West Kentucky South Alabama game, I take credit again for Western Kentucky winning so big because I had South Alabama clearing the board.
Well, who else did you have? Because my bowl pick'em was a mess this year,
Probably
and
the
now I'm
exact
finding out why.
opposite. Oh yeah, I guess we picked the same.
Probably.
The only game I did get correct, and I'm going to also give it to Jeff again because he convinced me on Air Force. And then I ain't gonna lie, y'all may or may not convince me on MTSU because I played for MTSU. I love MTSU, but sometimes in the bowl games, it's
Don't
hard
tell
to
me
take
you
those
bet.
guys.
Don't tell
No,
me
no,
you
no,
bet.
no, no,
San
no,
Diego
no, no,
State.
no, 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 no. I took MTSU money line. I'm saying like y'all are talking it up, and I took it. It's just funny because I was with my in-laws who were some gambling degenerates, and we were sitting there Christmas Eve, and I told them after a few cocktails, let's take the MTSU Blue Raiders money line. And that first quarter, they were looking at me like they were going to cut some fingers off because we weren't blocking air. I mean, our offensive line was literally like a fish out of water, couldn't even breathe. But somehow, some way, Reed Cunningham was able to make some big plays. The
Chase.
defense, that defensive line. What? I meant Reed Cunningham. God
Chase
Chase
Cunningham.
Cunningham. Sorry. Chase Cunningham was able to make some plays, and that D line, like Jeff
Jordan
was saying all
Ferguson,
year,
baby.
they're
Yeah,
real. They
that
were
dude's-
very real. They were just as good as San Diego State's D.
And he caught a touchdown. He had a
Yeah,
receiving
He's
touchdown.
amazing.
He
He's
was
incredible.
by far the best player on the field.
He might be the
regardless.
best D lineman I've ever seen play at MTSU.
He's
up there.
He's
He was
big too.
I
Talk
think
about being big. I mean,
Yeah, he's big.
he looks the part.
He either tied or was one shy of the all-time sack record at MTSU.
One- I think he tied it
I think he tied
Jeff,
it
in
in
that
the bowl
game.
game.
I'm pretty sure he tied it.
Jeff, you got experience you were a high school offensive coordinator for a little bit, or head coach, weren't you?
Both.
Calling play. You got experience calling plays. What do you do when your offensive line just is not even like touching? I'm telling you, I was not a good player. I was watching that game like embarrassed that we were on national television, and I was like, "What is happening?" Well, what do you do as an OC? Like, what do you call right there? Because I mean,
There's
whatever
really
they started
not-
doing.
There's really not much you can call. I mean, you can't run the ball, so you're one-dimensional. The only thing you can try and do is get the ball on the outside and hope your skill guys can make guys miss. And that's really all they tried to do. They tried to run screens after that point. They didn't completely abandon the run. They still tried to run, but they didn't. I think they had negative. If I'm not mistaken, I think they have negative rushing yards.
They did well
on-
because they
on
had
the day.
they had what 7 or 8 sacks, and I mean, dude,
Josh
they were
Walker
like,
called me about it. He was like, I mean, our Blue Raiders don't have one positive yard.
I mean, dude, like they were trying to throw like a deep ball, and it looked like they were running a screen.
Yeah,
Like D lineman just running free, and I'm just like, man,
yeah.
yeah. But I mean, to win that game, I mean, unbelievable. Credit to the defense and credit to Jordan Ferguson for single handedly winning that
And you know what?
game.
Credit to Coach Stock, 8-5
no
on the
doubt.
year, winning
No doubt.
back-to-back bowl games. For all the haters that want to talk trash and everyone counted them out after James Madison. They stuck to it. It's just hell of a. I mean, in my opinion, fantastic season. It could have been a lot different, and they could have given up very early on in the season.
I mean, I'll give all of us credit. I feel like we were spot on picking their season preseason. We said that replace the Miami win with the
James
La Tech.
Madison?
With the La Tech loss.
I thought West Kentucky though, but I thought West Kentucky are one of those.
And we were spot. We said James Madison's going to be brutal. We weren't really sure about Colorado State. We figured they win Tennessee State, and then we said they got the best 3 teams in that conference back to back to back, and then they got a damn good chance to win out. I mean, and they go and beat one of the better Mountain West teams. What about Conference USA? They get a lot of disrespect, but Western Kentucky goes and beats one of the best Sun Belt teams. Middle beats one of the top Mountain West teams.
They become the new MAC. Conference USA, they're the bowl beaters.
They were 3-3. Conference USA was in bowls. The MAC was let's see, I got it right here. We got the MAC was 4-2. Mountain West was 3-4.
Still the MAC.
Still MAC's the
Sun
MAC.
Belt was 3-4. And American was 4-3.
It's the only thing I have right on this show in the 2 years of age.
And the group of 5 was 3-2 against the Power 5, and the only 2 teams to lose was UCF and Cincinnati. So
to Duke, I mean,
Duke.
Get the hell out of group of 5.
So we were 3-0.
So we were 3-0.
Group of 5, 3-0. Yeah.
Yep. And that's exactly right. You had Air Force, Fresno, and Tulane.
Yep.
So three big ones there.
Speaking of MAC, real quick, one of the teams with an impressive win, Tulane, beating a good Liberty team. I know Liberty had their struggles into the season, sorry, did I say Tulane? Sorry, I meant Toledo. I apologize. DeQuan Finn gets back; he's fully healthy, and they come in and beat a good Liberty team, 21-19. That was a great game.
And Tip, you mentioned the MAC. I was surprised. I honestly thought Georgia Southern was going to beat Buffalo. Buffalo hung in there and got the win. That's a big win for that program.
Buffalo comes down there and wins with what, Sprouse? 0 fans in the stands because they couldn't travel.
Buffalo actually.
But I thought they couldn't travel because of the weather. Like
there was a few.
They wanted to come.
There was a few. Now we got. Are we ready to discuss the debacle? Listen,
I want to hear your take on this bowl game because this is happening. How long has this bowl been around? I mean, let's hear it.
Like 12 years. This bowl game, Montgomery Camellia Bowl. They don't even have a main title sponsor. It's sponsored by the city of Montgomery. So maybe all the sponsors dropped out. Listen, and Georgia Southern has been there before too. So damn well the people of Statesboro are going to show up. Now I get it. You're playing this game on a Tuesday at 11 a.m. local time, which I don't understand it. But dude, me and Tip get down there. I get down there probably. I get into Montgomery probably 2 hours before kickoff, and I'm thinking, perfect. I'll park, tailgate for a little bit. They don't have a single thing changed for this game, and the stadium's like downtown Montgomery. So they got the stoplights going. They got no cops out there directing traffic or anything. You got 100 people in line at a freaking red light, and nobody's going any other direction except that direction. So you're waiting in line. They got no signs where to park, where to go, whatever. So, fortunately, I get a text message that tells go by the baseball field, and then you wait in line. I get all the way. I wait in line. Tip sees the line from the damn top of the hill, and he's like, I'm in this line. He's like, I'm coming. So he gets there. I get all the way through the line, and I get to the baseball field, and this guy's like, $20. And I was like, hope you take a credit card, buddy, because I ain't got it. I ain't got cash. And I was like, I got my tickets to the game. And I was like, I didn't know what this was. And then he's like, got to turn around, go to the gas station, get $20. I said, brother, you're going to make me turn around and make all of these people back out on this parking lot. And I don't want to get him in trouble. He let me go, but there's no telling how many people that happened to with no direction. You don't even know what parking lot you're going to. And then, we weren't there, but all the Georgia Southern folks were saying that none of the restaurants were open or bars were open on a Monday night. And they were like, it's Monday. It's the day after Christmas. You're hosting a bowl game. If you are a city or a town, the entire reason you host a bowl game is to boost your local economy and your local businesses. They said the hotel people were like we had no idea why we were booking up on a Monday for a Monday night. It's like so there was no promotion, no nothing. Nobody was prepared for it. Then, I mean, I don't want to steal all the thunder here. They got one entry to the entire stadium. So the lines go in like 2 blocks. You got to go underneath the damn bleachers to get in. They pat you down like you're walking into a freaking nightclub. And
I think what it was, Sprouse. So this is the first stadium and only stadium that I've ever seen this. There might be more, but it's the first I've ever seen where whichever side of the stadium you enter is the one that you have to stay in. Once you get in the stadium, there's no way to go across to the other side. So we were in the long line, which so happened to be the Georgia Southern line, whereas the other line wasn't. There was like hardly any line, and we were just really confused. But that's because that was I guess supposed to be the Buffalo side of the stadium.
Yeah.
And there was no line. But yeah, we missed kickoff because we were sitting in line and there was just no urgency.
So they got 40. They were saying 40 minutes plus for the concession stand. They got like one person working the concession stand. They run out of beer, of course.
At halftime. Yep.
Yeah. So then after the game, Tip had saw this little pizza spot like a couple blocks away from the stadium. And he's like, let's walk to the pizza place. We'll let traffic die down. We'll grab a bite and we'll get out of there. Well, we go to this pizza place, and me and Tip are the first 2 people from the game in this place. And we got our group of 5 guys stuff. They're talking about that. And then the guy's like, is there a game today? And we're like, yeah, dude, a bowl game. And I'm like, buddy, you may want to start calling some staff because this is the only place open like within a mile of the stadium. You are about to get crushed. And I mean, I imagine they did. I mean, a couple more groups came in after us.
It was just so confusing because like this pizza place was like on the main street coming from the interstate going to the stadium. And I noticed and I said, well, that looks like a good pizza spot. That looks like a good place to go after the game. And pizza was amazing. It was incredible.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah,
go ahead.
If I may, you did the 12 days of Christmas for the group of 5. And we're very hard on our athletic departments for the group of 5 schools. But let's be real here. These bowl games, these guys that are hosting these bowl games, they're just as responsible as getting acknowledgement to these schools. You said one of your 12 days was, acknowledge or have a knowledge of your education of the game. If you are that bowl commissioner or whatever for that one game, and I know who Georgia Southern is, I know that it's not just going to be 5,000-6,000 people coming. They're coming, and and it's not the waiters' fault at these restaurants, but it's not the waiters' fault. It's not the people working at these businesses. It's the guy that owns sponsoring the bowl. He should get to the owners of all these bars and restaurants in the area, let them know, hey, in 3 weeks, shit is going down. Like you're about to have a lot of business here, and if you give these great businesses, a notice, and they're able to provide for all these fans. These fans are going to talk about how great the bowl experience is, and now instead of the Montgomery Bowl being like, "Oh my God, we're going to the Montgomery Bowl," now it's like, "Hell yeah, we're going to the Montgomery Bowl, man! That bar was badass."
Well, it gives these companies the opportunity. Back to your 12
days. It's not just the schools; it's also these guys. Well, why even host a bowl game? Why even host a bowl game? Because you're probably losing more money than you are making money.
It's even worse because it's literally the only if you're on the Camellia Bowl committee, that's your deal. You got one game to prepare for, and you know what date and time it is all year long. So, that pizza place could have set sales records and paid. I mean, they could have gotten rich that day if they were we're the official Camellia Bowl after party. Come grab it. They could have done a Camellia Bowl deal, a slice and a beer for $5, whatever. They could have done anything. And I mean, like you said, the pizza was good, and I'm sure they did fine. But I'm sure if they got a line out the door, the 3 people working were a little bit overwhelmed.
But it's something like that's a perfect opportunity for a company, for a business to advertise, to market. And when your pizza place and any of those places that are on the main street going up to the stadium, that is the way. That's the way fans are getting to the stadium, and that's the road that people are leaving to go to the interstate. And so goes back to the signage that Sprouse was talking about. Put something up there saying, yeah, like you said, Sprouse, come get a bite to eat, a slice and a beer for $5 or something on your way out or whatever. And that, I mean, like you said, they could have set some sales records.
I mean, you got. I know the hotels were a little unprepared for that many people, but I know this because I live sort of near Montgomery. I would probably not Airbnb in certain communities in certain areas of Montgomery. It's a rough spot. But what about we and Tipper talking to people? They got a haunted Airbnb. They're in the Airbnb. They got people jiggling the doors in the middle of the night.
Are you serious?
I'm like, you are in Montgomery. This town is old. This town has seen some things. This is not a lot of good things.
It's haunted, but it's actually a homeless man trying to get in your house.
Oh yeah, well, they had a like when the host lives next door or whatever. No, I was like, I think that wasn't.
She lived in the house.
So that was just coming into But so then a couple other things. The stadium. I know this is probably logistics and finances, but Alabama State plays in a stadium like 2 blocks away. That's way nicer than the damn Crampton Bowl. But the sound in it is bad. You get the music, you're getting an echo off. Like they got like just a flat wall on the end zone side, and the music's like echoing. It's like muffled, kind of.
Speakers weren't loud at all.
Yeah, it was just not a good environment for a game, especially when you get that. It's a good. You know what it is? It would be a really good high school playoff game site, or big high school game or whatever, Montgomery or Prattville or whoever could play there, and it'd be a pretty good place for that, but not for Georgia Southern bringing the thousands of people that they brought. Now about the game, biggest thing stood out. So it was like the first drive of the game. Buffalo's wide receiver lines up wide to our side of the stadium, and me and Tip both look at each other, and we were like, who in the hell is that? We didn't know his name. We're like, they're going to go to 1 right here. And they went to him, and Georgia Southern could not stop it. And so shout out to Justin Marshall, Buffalo wide receiver, Louisville transfer. He's one of them guys that he just looks it, dude. Like we were talking about Tulane and USC and there not being a difference. Like that guy looked like he belonged on a Tulane USC field or a whatever Georgia TCU field. Just big, fast. I mean,
and me and Sprouse started noticing the trend when it was like 3rd down and medium to long. Yeah. We would see old Justin Marshall go one-on-one isolated.
Yeah, they were picking on one
side or the other. I said, we pointed, said they're going right there, and sure enough, dude. And he just the way he runs his routes and the way he catches the ball and his running after the catch is just he's
a baller.
He's special. Yeah,
he declared for the draft, if I'm not mistaken. He reminds me of DK Metcalf for the Seattle Seahawks.
He damn looks like it, dude. I mean, I'm talking like a body, like bodybuilder, bro.
Specimen.
So I think I was telling one of y'all this several years ago. Me and my dad went to a Dolphins Texans game. And my dad, wasn't real sure on who was real good on the Texans. Nobody. But at the time, they had Andre Johnson on the team. And it was like, why does this one wide receiver look like a damn defensive end? That's what this cat looked like walking out there amongst Buffalo and Georgia Southern. Now, I didn't even look at his measurables. He might just be an average-sized guy. But on that field, on that day, he looks big. And
he's listed at 6'3", 210.
That's probably about right. It's a big kid. But yeah, he had a day. And then at the end of the game, man, Buffalo didn't run the ball like fantastic, but at the end of the game when they needed to put it away, their O-line freaking buckled up and Georgia Southern couldn't stop it. So shout out to Buffalo, man. I mean, that's a big win for them. Mm-hmm. It's a big season for Buffalo. They weren't expected to do a whole lot, but it's a good win for them. Anyway, I'm trying to think. There were so many bowl games, and some of them were so long ago. If y'all got any others to talk about real quick.
I was impressed with Wyoming, what they did to Ohio. That was another win. That Ohio losing their quarterback. I was skeptic to see what they would do to Wyoming. But hey, Wyoming, they had a lot better year this year than we thought they were going to, right? We thought they were only going to get like a handful of wins, and they were one of the better teams in the Mountain West. So shout out to Wyoming.
That was the Barstool Bowl, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah.
Say what you want about Barstool. I
They
mean,
did it right.
the game looked like it was fun. I bet that's one of the best bowl games in the country for the players to go to.
Oh, I bet.
I
Can you
bet
imagine
all
what the
week
bowl
long
prizes are? It's probably
Yeah.
something crazy.
Yeah, and you could tell it was just entertaining. It was entertaining for everybody, and that's what the bowl games are supposed to be about. So they did it right.
I was curious about this though, Sprouse. Before we log off here, and it's New Year's. You may not have been about to change the subject, but I was going to go around like go the horn. Like, what was y'all's favorite thing about 2022, the Group of Five guy season?
I mean, it's got to be Tulane beating USC for me. I mean, it was just, again, just how all of the national media just puts USC on this top of the freaking mountaintop, and like we mentioned on our on Twitter, they'll probably be a top 5 preseason team next year, and Tulane's not even going to be ranked in the top 25, more than likely. So just thinking off the top of my head is just how special and amazing of a win that was for Tulane.
Well, I go back to week 3 when you have App State beating A&M, Georgia Southern beating Nebraska, and Marshall beating Notre Dame, and then following week Middle beats Miami. I mean, we had not just quote upsets. I mean, we were beating some damn blue bloods this year, and as that was good. And then as far as the group, I'm gonna piss off some people. Me and Swag's trip to Statesboro. Statesboro
That was fun.
is awesome, man.
You stole mine. I was going to say. I was going to say
sorry.
my Statesboro. No. We're out there together. Just the game day experience and being there on the sidelines with the group of people that we just shout out making our visit, which is fantastic.
So,
100%.
sorry, Jesse, I forgot that Tulane game was actually technically in 2023.
Yeah, well,
but,
same
it's
thing.
the
sorry about that.
2022
Sorry, but
23 season.
yeah, but let's talk about. I mean, I think we talked about it last podcast or the episode before, but Troy's turnaround season.
Yeah,
I mean, just an
Troy.
incredible season.
We should take credit for that, Tyler. We were over there. We went and saw the spring game and
Spring
gave
game.
that good mojo.
Yep.
I mean, we were coaching them up over there on the sideline a little bit. I mean,
No doubt. Well, I'm going to say I was at the Miami MTSU game.
Jeff went to like 10 different stadiums this year. Had a great time.
I got to travel a lot this year, traveling with the Blue Raiders, and seeing that win in person, calling the game was absolutely incredible. And then from a group standpoint, that Conference USA Championship game in San Antonio, I mean, the atmosphere in the Alamo Dome was incredible. The people we got to meet at the tailgate, and this just goes for all of it. I mean, the whole season when we got to travel and meet people and coaches and players was just that's always the favorite. And I can speak, I think, for everybody. The favorite thing we get to do is just meet all the new people, the people that listen, and we're so grateful and appreciative of your support of us. And it's what makes this thing go, man. We want to spread the word and spread the mission.
Jeff, before we get off here, because of all your traveling this year and going back to even your play days, I'm curious, what is your favorite Group of Five stadium you've ever visited? Not atmosphere. I'm talking about the stadium.
Yeah, just stadium in itself.
Just stadium. Like, damn, that's a nice stadium.
I'm going to be honest. Colorado State's stadium is impeccable. It is.
I thought I was going to say UTEP.
I did too.
Well, so it depends. The way he kind of asked the question was, as far as top notch, nice. Colorado State might have the nicest stadium and facilities, and it makes the most sense out of any stadium I've been to. But you want to talk about my favorite stadium probably to watch a game that I've been to? It might be the Sun Bowl, because that backdrop, you got the mountains, and you can look off and you can see Juarez, Mexico. I mean, but it's old. See, that's the thing. Is like when you go and you get to tour it, doesn't quite flow as well as some of the others, but that's just because it's an older stadium. So
I respect that answer, because I remember when we first started Group of Five guys, and me and Sprouse just put together real quick our top 100 stadiums of Group of Five. We had Colorado State in the top 10, and some people were. I mean, and not a lot of people hated on it, but it just looking at pictures wise, you're like, damn, that
Fort Collins is an awesome town too. I really enjoyed Fort Collins. So if we get the opportunity to go, I know we want to make a Mountain West trip next year, and probably need to hit another one since I've been to that one. But I would absolutely go back to Fort Collins see our boy Matt Mummy and just paint the town because it's an awesome place.
I tell you, you brought up San Antonio, dude. I cannot eat barbecue anymore. Without like somebody
Nothing holds
suggest
candle.
barbecue, and I like go on their Instagram real quick, and I'm like, nah, no thanks. Doesn't look good.
I cannot believe I'll go on this whole episode and tell you what happened this weekend. Oh my God. I'm
Oof.
mad because it's near the end of the show.
No, let's hear it now. We'll cut it.
I'm telling you, I smoked ribs this weekend on Saturday for the playoff games because I was in the championship and I was excited, ready to get this thing going on Saturday with Josh Jacobs in the backfield. Make it quick. I had the ribs on for about 6-7 hours, Jeff, and took them off. When I took them off, I had some corn on the Traeger, and they weren't completely done yet, so I cranked the bad boy up to about 450, 475 degrees, get a nice little char. I was going to take them off. Well, I brought the ribs inside, and then lackadaisically, I just start cutting the ribs up. I got some people in the house too, and Michaela comes around the corner and she sees a bunch of smoke, and she just goes, "Fire! Fire! Fire! Fire!" She just starts screaming, and we look outside. My Traeger, where the grease drippings go, it's like a freaking flamethrower out its ass, just hitting it. It's right next to a column next to my outdoor furniture, and I'm like, "Holy shit!" And so I'm over here. We finally found out what kind of man I am under pressure. I am an absolute bitch. I was running in place. I forgot where everything was in the house. I didn't know. Michaela's like, "Get the water hose." I know where the water hose was. I was just running in place. I
You
don't
put
even remember.
water
I
on a
don't know.
grease fryer. You got to have baking soda.
I hear you. When the bullets are flying, what do? You fill up a huge pot and you dump it on your electric grill. So I opened up the grill and the flame just goes. And it literally, like, I'm like, my house will catch on fire. Like, it's hitting. You've been on my back porch, Sprouse. Like, I had that cover. It's like hitting my roof. I'm like, my house is about to burn the F down. So I dumped that pot on top of my Traeger. And then, not even thinking, Michaela comes back with another bucket. And I'm like, just for good measure. On top of it. And then the fire's out. The corn's burnt to shit. There's no damage done in my house. And then we're sitting there later that night, and we're kind of just thinking, like, I'm like, damn, that we really just survived a fire. Like, Michaela, if you would have seen that like 2 or 3 minutes later, like something could have gone up in flames. And then my neighbor / buddy Victor is like, "I didn't want to say anything, but you probably just fucked up your Traeger." Well, luckily that next morning I took that bad boy apart. My Traeger's working fine right now. You do not dump water on a grease fire. 2, you don't dump on an electric grill. Everything is fine, but boys, Saturday night I about lit my house on fire. I was meant to start with that.
You're gonna get that damn squirrel out of the attic with you.
One way or another, I'm gonna kill that rodent. Yeah, I'll end the podcast on that. So yeah, luckily everything's fine.
Great.
Next morning, there's no burn marks whatsoever. Got a little char on the wiring on the extension cord. So, but we're good.
That is great.
We're good.
It's a great way to end. Before we close, you guys hit like and subscribe. Follow us on all the socials at Group of Five Guys. Like, subscribe, share the YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of your podcast streaming platforms. Go to groupof5guys.com. Get you some swag. Get you a hoodie. Get you a T-shirt. A couple more months of cold weather. Hoodies are the way to go. That's all we got for you. We'll see you probably in 2 weeks.